Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another amazing episode of the Brave Entrepreneur Podcast. I'm Jena Rodriguez, your host, and I am your brand, business, and brave strategist. I absolutely love helping entrepreneurs catapult their brand clarity, understand their money-making strategies, and ultimately impact the world in the way they want to in a profitable manner, right? So it's all about multiplication and amplification, right? Amplify and multiply. And so today we're going to have another great conversation with my guest, Charlene, and we're going to dive into her brave story and really hopefully give you some nuggets to walk away with so that you too can be inspired to get your brave on in your business and in your life. And so without further ado, welcome, Charlene. How are ya?
I'm very well. Thank you, Jena. Thank you for having me.
You are so welcome. I'm glad you're here. We even have birds with us. I love it. I love that.
Lots of birds.
Right?
Pretty cool. Lots of birds.
Yes, plus birds. So, so tell us just a little bit about your business and who you are so people can connect with you.
My business is Bulletproof Your Business Now. I help frustrated entrepreneurs get their more. And it doesn't really matter what the more is, more sales, more market share, more cash flow, more confidence. Now, that kind of sounds pretty brazen, doesn't it? That's because in a previous life, I did 60 acquisitions, 10 dispositions, 30 saves, 5 culture changes. I even took one company through bankruptcy, and I made a whole pile of people multimillionaires. So I kind of know maybe a little bit more than a little bit about business. It really doesn't matter to me what anyone wants to know about business. I can help them get there.
Yeah. Just it's the nature of experience, right?
It's really just the nature of experience, and I dare say more than 30 years worth. Yes.
Yeah, got it.
Yes.
We started at 5. It's all good.
I'm off to a new networking group later on this week, and I had to write my bio, and what I've been experiencing lately is really shocking to me. So I decided I'm now going to say, hi, I'm Charlene Norman. I scare people.
Yep.
I think big. I think really, really, really big. And I'm finding lots of people don't think big like I do.
Right. I'm with you. I definitely am a bigger thinker, and it's interesting to see, how limited and people think, and so what do you think that comes from? What do you think what's the symptom of that, or the cause of that?
I honestly think it's because people. This sounds terrible, but people don't think past the nose on their face in many instances. I was fortunate. I had the great pleasure of working around the world. So I was exposed to many, many different cultures and many, many different, very smart people very early in my life. And so it was fun for me.
Right.
What I'm noticing now is lots of people don't seem to get out of their hometown. Lots of people don't seem to move past maybe 150 miles out of wherever they were born. There's a big old world past that.
Yeah.
And when you don't explore the world and you only stay within a short boundary, it's very limiting to your outlook. It's very scary for people.
Yeah. It's interesting you say that. I'm here in Houston. Where are you actually? Where are you located?
I am located about 50 miles west of Toronto in Canada.
Oh, great. Canadian. Awesome. Yeah. So, I was raised in the big city. I'm very, familiar with having plenty of neighbors and plenty of people, and just, having that experience. Yet I've moved all over. So I started at a young age moving, to different cities and bigger cities, as well as ending up in a very small town called I thought it was 700 people. I think it was more like 2,000 people, but 2,000 people, like less than what's in my entire high school at the time.
Right.
So it is a different culture. And I think people, even in a big city, they can still possibly think small because they stay inside their neighborhood, or they don't travel or get out and see what else is possible. So what is your advice to people, and maybe what advice have you taken in your own life to break those limitations?
Well, when I was 19, I left my small town and said, I have to make it.
Yeah.
So I moved from a town of 10,000 and I moved into a town that was 1 million, and it grew to 3 million.
Right.
Then I moved back to a smaller town, and now I moved to a very small town. But the point was, I got out of the small town to make my mark.
Correct.
Because that's what we Canadians do in a lot of cases. Other cases, they like the comfort of a certain size of a city, and that's it. Mm-hmm. And I honestly can't tell you right now whether it's they're locked into their kids and their marriage and they don't want to change.
Right.
They're frustrated with the economy and they don't want to change. They don't see a way out and they don't want to change. I can just tell you they just don't want to change.
Yeah, they're choosing.
I'm not sure what it is.
Yeah.
I just moved from a town that was 1 million people back down to a town that was 100,000 people. And I didn't know anybody when I moved to this town. And I thought, okay, well, I'll take my business that was already in existence and I'll just pick it up and I'll move it, which was a dumb thing to think. We all make mistakes. And somebody, a very smart person, said, oh, Charlene, you're starting all over again. Yes, I am actually. So I had to think about what it was like when I was 20. And if we think about what it was like when we were 20,
mm-hmm.
we had no responsibilities. So when you have no responsibilities, your outlook on life is a lot different.
Right, sure.
So I just went into overdrive as to, okay, what was it like when I was 20? I did a lot of things differently then than I do now. I immediately started doing them. I didn't do every one of them. I mean, really, I didn't go disco dancing, and I didn't go pick up men like I did. My husband would shoot me. But this whole business about getting out and meeting people, this whole business about, hi, my name is, because nobody cares. This whole business about meeting, volunteering, getting involved, shutting up.
Right.
Not talking about where you came from, but listening to other people, getting involved. We forget to do that as we get older.
Yeah.
And putting ourselves out there, which for a lot of people seems to be difficult or scary or whatever. And I've noticed that those are, I don't know, as we get older, I guess, maybe it gets a little more difficult to do.
Yeah, and I wonder if it is that, or I think it just comes down to whether you're, whatever age we are, is what I heard you say kind of a minute ago, and what I assessed was like it's all about what we're worried about other people thinking. It's kind of like, well, what is that person going to think if I just start talking to them and I'm brand new here, or what, it's like, what are people going to think if I speak up? What are people going to think if I get online and play bigger and, or put myself out there, and maybe they're afraid of judgment or some kind of, lashback or something like that. But it's like you and me both, we just like barreled forward, like just keep going. And which is a lot of what Brave is all about. It's just getting uncomfortable. And even if it is comfortable, play bigger, right? Do something else, do something more. Like
Absolutely.
More.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. I love that.
You know what? I've never had house envy, people envy, or car envy. I don't pay attention to what other people think unless I hurt them.
Sure, right.
And if I hurt them, it was unintentional. But I've never really paid attention to what other people really think about what I do. I just worry about, is this a good idea for me? Is it a good idea for my husband? Is it a good idea for us? Does it feel right here in my heart? Yes, no, yes, we're going ahead, full steam, full stop. Yeah. And I don't expect the road to be perfect, and I expect I'm going to stumble, and I'm ready for it.
Yeah, right. That's, I think, part of it too, is just being willing to fall down and get back up. And
Yeah.
we're always afraid of falling down. We'll never take the first step, right? So that's what is amazing about your story, is just that every step of the way, you've just took the step anyway, regardless. And, and faced whatever showed up. And I think that's amazing.
Well, I have to admit, I don't like failing.
Yeah.
I don't like falling down.
Right.
I like to be the one in charge of things. I've been a bossy little person since I was 3. I swear like a trooper when things go wrong. I always have done. I don't handle failing gracefully, but I accept it.
Yeah.
It's part and parcel. The amount of money that I've lost, I don't even want to think about.
Sure.
I can't remember the amount of money that I've made. I can tell you all about, but I've lost a lot too.
Yeah.
It's not worth worrying about. It goes with the territory.
Right.
This is my 3rd business. The first one, I had to abandon because a family comes first in my books, and I had to look after my family stuff. So my first one I abandoned, but I beat the big guy, so I was happy about that. My second one, I had a health issue, so I had to put that aside. This one, and I thought I could bring it easily to a new town. Well, that kind of didn't work too well. No big deal. So I'm starting off again. But the thing is, I'm more successful now than I've ever been.
Yeah.
And every mistake, or no, it's not a mistake. Every time we hit a big stone in our lives, a big boulder.
I was going to say boulder.
Yeah, a boulder's better. It's not a stone. I treat them as stones, but you got to think it's a big freaking boulder.
Right.
That sort of knocks you on your keister. You become stronger. And every time you pick yourself up, and you do pick yourself up, the success comes to you faster because you're more resilient. And you've got this really strong backbone, and you can recover. And I'm walking proof of that. And everybody I know that's in this really strange world called we work for ourselves, we all have that. The older we get, the faster we recover, the faster the successes come to us. No matter how bad, no matter how awful it seems.
Yeah, that's really good. I think it's a great reminder where, for whoever's watching or listening, is that no matter where we are, age, experience, et cetera, or level, what in life is to, and this is why I always say brave daily, right? Like brave daily. Well, if you get busy, get uncomfortable, get, in action and stay the course. And if you fall down, get back up, because that's brave also. Then there's an acceleration that occurs. There's a ripple effect, and there's an acceleration of that brave, and the resilience show up. The R in brave for me stands for resilience. So, and you build that muscle, and that's what I see in you is just the accumulation of that resilience, and we're better for it. Right. And so if people can really get out of their own way, it sounds like is somewhat of what you're saying, is like, get out of your own way and just go for it, play bigger, go, take the steps necessary, even if you fall down. And so what has been like one of the bravest things you've done in your current business?
I have a confession. I lost most of my fears when I was about 20 years old, because I just said, to hell with it. I'm just going to play full out.
Yeah.
But, and so to get over my fears, every time I've ever had a fear, and even today, whenever I feel any niggly bits, I go to my to-do list and I say, what do I have to do? And I just attack it. Yeah. And that's it. And the fear goes. But I'll be honest with you, 3 years ago, I had what I call my minor medical miracle. I had a viral infection, which basically starved the oxygen out of my brain and my spinal column. And anyways, long story short, I ended up with 2 strokes.
Wow.
And the odds of recovering are pretty bad. So I'll give you one metric. I used to be able to read at a rate of 300 words a minute. When I woke up from a week-long coma after nearly dying, I could read at a rate of 30 words an hour.
Wow.
Inside of 6 months, I was back up reading at 275 words a minute, and I'm almost at 300 now.
Amazing.
The doctors and the therapists and everything call it minor medical miracle, whatever.
The 3 M's.
It's all very boring stuff, and the secret is this. I'll tell you, the secret is this. Between your ears is the brain. 85% of your success in life is here in your brain.
Yep.
The reason I say that is because when I was 19, I got annoyed and I said, I can do that. All I have to do is 4 times the amount of work.
Mm-hmm.
And every single success I ever had in life was because I did 4 times the amount of work. So when I was in the hospital, when my husband said to me I had a stroke, the first thing he did was I felt my face. Okay, I don't have any tugs. That's good. I am not an invalid. I am the chief breadwinner in the house.
Right.
I am not going to be dependent. I am healthy. And that was the only thought in my head was I am healthy. Now, I'm not a doctor. But what I knew from my entire life was feed my brain with the right message.
Yep, absolutely. 100%.
Does not know the difference between reality and fantasy.
Agreed.
And then I became the patient from hell, and I demanded homework. And I said, you guys give me this, now I want 4 times as much. And that's how come. That is the honest to God reason why I'm not 100% of what I used to be. I'm only 98% of what I used to be.
Only 98.
Only 98. I do have some issues, but I beat everybody else.
Yeah.
And I can say to you, that's the only time in my life where I went, oh my God, but I refuse to accept it.
Yeah.
And that's what I can say to anybody who's listening today. You do not have to accept that you're not going to be successful. You just tell yourself, I'm going to make it.
Yeah, I am successful.
And you put that in your brain because 85% of your success will be here. And then you'll find and surround yourself with the folks who can help make you successful.
Correct. I love that. And you know, thank you for sharing that, you know, story. I can imagine the hardship of just, you know, being faced with that, first of all, and being like, oh boy, right? Like, here we go. And having and then having the ability, though, to flip your mindset to not what the doctors say, not what any external chatter that might be going on, but being really intentional about the message you're feeding your brain, right? The message of, you know, positivity and just knowing, like, setting your intention and going after it. And doing the work. And I always say action annihilates fear. That's one of my quotes.
It totally does.
It totally does. Yeah.
And let's be perfectly honest. You even though action does annihilate fear, you do have those moments during the day. They crop up, even at night, when you go, am I doing the right thing?
Sure.
Oh my God. You do, and you can cry yourself to sleep, and you can churn and grab the wine and do whatever. But the bottom line is, this up here is the thing that you feed properly, and you just say, yes, I'm 100% right. I know what I'm doing. I'm going forward. I'm doing it right, and I'm not backing down.
Yeah.
Works. I'm proof of it. And I'm not special.
Yeah. No, I love this. And I mean, I'm mirroring that in my own life, and it's kind of like, yeah, that's what I've done. That's what the Brave is all about. And so just the fact that you're really reinforcing this for us today is just, I'm super grateful for, because, I think there's just so much self excuse, meaning we're just sitting in our own chatter in our own mind, giving so many excuses. And it's like, no, just turn it off, turn the faucet off, and focus on, I can do this, I'm successful, I'm healthy, and then just go take action. Just go get in action. And, it's like, if all you did was, I love the 4 times the work. Well, I'm all about 10 times the work. And I'm like, how much can I put into effort? I'm looking at my whiteboard right here. I have 10 times, the 10 multiplier equals the effort plus the action, and that'll lead to the money, that'll lead to the success, that'll lead to the health, it's like, just put in 10 times or 4 times or whatever, that multiplier of effort and action, and then the results show up, and it's like, we sit back and think about how great that would be, or we don't think big enough, or we stay in the small town because we don't think we can leave, right? All those excuses. And I just think you're such an example of what's possible when you get your mind right and you take the action. And just, all the examples you do, you have an amazing background of experience, especially, I will put your bio in the notes and everybody can read it. But, having this 30 years of experience and really truly getting your Brave on all through it, right? And finding the resilience, I think, is what people need to hear. Like, they got to just kind of like shut up and get busy.
Exactly. That's all it is.
I love you, but you got to shut up and get busy.
Exactly. Quit whining. Just go do it.
Yeah, just go do it. Fall down, pick up, get up, right? That's how we rode a bike. I got some Band-Aids for you. I'll give you a Band-Aid, but just keep going, playing, right? Play on the field. And so tell me, what would you say? I like to ask this question and hear what everybody's answer is. But what do you think for you Brave means? What does Brave mean to you? How would you define it?
You fight to the end. You never give up.
Say it again.
You fight to the end. Yes. You never give up.
Yeah.
And you hold yourself in very high regard. And I want to be careful about that. It doesn't mean you hold yourself as better than anyone else.
Right.
You just hold yourself up and you say, I am worthy.
Yeah.
And that's a different way of looking at yourself. I am worthy and worth it, and I don't give up. That's brave.
I don't give up. I love that. Thank you for that. And I think you're right. It's the high regard is about seeing your self-worth, because no one else can give that.
It's very true.
Yeah.
It's very, very true. And in my little world, a lot of people don't hold themselves up in high enough regard.
Yeah.
They hold other people up in very high regard. But they don't respect themselves to that same level, and that really comes across. And it's sad. And if you don't respect yourself, you don't set your prices properly, you don't set your goals properly, you don't give your best to your customers, and your business just does not do what you want to have happen.
Yeah, business, life, etc. And I 100% see that happen. And it's I can bring you forward, I can bring your awareness forward, and clearly you do the same, and yet we can't take the action for people at all.
We can't.
We can talk about it all day long, but you're the one that actually has to walk out the door or get on the phone or ask for the money.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And let's be honest, learning to value yourself is not an overnight job. I don't know about you, but it took me a long time.
It's an experience, and just like finding myself inside of the process of taking
Exactly.
It's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is really great. And I think, it's like I'm on a mission to just kind of get straight with people and just be like really upfront about what it takes to be where I am, what it takes for you to be where you are, and the guests that we have on this show. Because this is not an overnight success, get rich quick or any of that. This is about like what it takes. And it is, like you said, 85%, if not more, maybe 95% of what you think and how you hold it and what you do and say to yourself is what makes the difference. So if you're not managing the mind, then, and blaming your circumstances, because look at the circumstances you've had, right? Yet you create your own success. And I think that's brilliant.
You have to create your own success. But I'll tell you what you're right. You have to, here's what bothers me. I'm a real hard ass. I'm a real push. So I really want to be careful here. I'm not heavily into life coaching. I don't believe in the woo-woo stuff. I'm not into unicorns and butterflies and all that kind of garbage stuff. I don't visualize with vision boards and all that soft stuff here. I'm into heavy duty. We're going for results, guys. Results. That's all we're going for. So, but I do believe it is here.
Yeah, it starts in the head, or you can't.
It starts and ends up here.
Yeah.
I'm not a woo. I gotta admit, I'm just not woo.
Okay. Not everybody's woo woo, right? And it's funny. I've been in transformational work though my entire, like really since I was about 15, and reading the books and studying. It's kind of basically just in an effort to get out of my circumstances, to break the cycle that my life and my family was in.
Right.
And I was like, I don't want that. What do I do to get out of it? Right. But the action has to be there as well, right? It's not just in the book. It's not in the listening. You can listen to this podcast, but if you don't take some of this action and this, this advice to heart, okay, what are we doing here, right? So, I am, 100% believe in transformational work and personal development, personal growth, and the mind, and, understanding how to get successful, right? How to be successful. And in areas of life, and yet it's inside of the action and just kind of like experiencing life that it can only show up, in my opinion. So woo-woo or not, I think it's just a part of your mindset. It's like part of how do you show up every day for yourself? What do you look at in the mirror and say to yourself? And because there's so much information. And I don't watch the news, by the way. I do not feed myself with the news on a daily basis. I'll find out what I need to know through my resources or internet or whatever. But there's a choice that I actually make about that intentionally, because I feed myself with podcasts, or I feed myself with, audible books, or, the information that's going to have me think forward and bigger and play bigger. And I think that's, that's the practical application, right? Instead of the
You're right. You're absolutely right. As a matter of fact, any smart person or driven person I know does not pay attention to the news regularly, does not pay attention to social media regularly, pays more attention to true information, the true experts in the world, the podcasts. They're focused exactly on what they need to learn. If that is changing the way they think, if that is growing their internal body of knowledge, if that is expanding their mind, that's where they're focused on. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, I'm a knowledge seeker and a student. Always. That's just my core. So that's what I spend my time feeding myself.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean I don't have fun and watch some, crazy shows on TV just for some entertainment, but I don't want to go to the news for my entertainment by any means. It's just too negative.
It's too negative. Yeah, I agree. Totally agree. Agree.
So yeah, so it's good. And, and it's like, oh, wow, I just looked down and our time is up, but I just love this, reminder for people, right? The resilience, the action, like just shut up and do it, right? Just go for it. Because if you can go from stroke to, right, 300 words, reading 300 words a minute and back to your 95% self, which you'll be at 100% or 110% for that matter.
Maybe.
It is the action and decisions you made for yourself. It's not listening to the decision the doctor said, right? I mean, they're going to believe what they believe about, well, you're going to have these things, you can't do what you used to do. You can't it's like, believe what you're going to believe and do something about it and prove it to yourself. And I think that's such an example of, the brave, right? That's what we're all talking about here.
That's my issue of brave.
Yeah. So tell us, where can people connect with you? Like, what's your website? What's the best way to reach out?
You can connect with me on www.bulletproofyourbusinessnow.com. You can find me on Facebook, on LinkedIn, Twitter, Pinterest, and Instagram.
Great. Okay,
yeah.
Great.
Oh, I'm getting all over now. Yes, all those different places you can find me.
Awesome, Charlene. Thank you so much for being here. And I know that you do have a free gift, and you can. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that too, so they understand what that is?
So there's a piece of me that has. I have an ego. Everybody has an ego, and I believe that there's almost no problem in the world that I can't solve for anybody. So I have said, give me any problem you have and I'll help you solve it. So there's a link on my website that basically says, call me up, give me your best and worst problem, and I'll work through a solution with you. 20 minutes, free pitch, free. I am not going to ask you for any business. I'm just going to say, I'll help you with your problem. It's available for everybody 24 hours a day. Well,
awesome. Or sort of.
Sort of, yes.
They can schedule it, but maybe not show up in the middle of the night.
I do sleep.
I get it. The link is available to click on 24 hours a day.
Yes.
So we'll put that link. It'll be a bit.ly link or what have you, so people can access that in the show notes and on my website and all that. So we'll take care of that. But I just really appreciate your conversation today. And so I always like to end with one final question, and then we'll let everybody go. Is, if this was your last interview, if this was the last moment, we don't want to think that way, but you know what I mean? Like, this was it, and this was the last chance to really speak your message to the world at large, what would that message be?
Success to me is not about your accomplishments. It's not about your houses, your cars, your Facebooks, your Instagrams, your things that you have. Success to me is your ability to impact and inspire others to be and to act.
Yep.
For me, that means your ability to act on your promptings from your heart, whether that means a kiss, a hug, a pat on the shoulders, a glass of wine, a friendly ear, a high five, a thank you, just to be there for someone, share a story, listen.
Yeah. And
I think, Jena, your podcasts every day are inspiring people and showing people what success is really all about. So thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for that final note. And I appreciate you, and I appreciate that comment. And that's what my intention is, right? This is just your hi-fi, your inspiration, and your friend, right? Our friendship is important, and thank you for that final message. It's really powerful. So Charlene, thanks for being here. I appreciate everyone listening and watching us. Please let us know what you took away from this. She has given a lot of information, some great nuggets, and of course shared her story. And so what are you walking away with from this? And so you can leave that in the comments, or just find us on Facebook or YouTube and let us know what that is. We love feedback, and please listen to the next episodes to come. And you can always find us on iTunes and review us on iTunes, and listen from the episode 1 all the way to the current. So we have a huge library of amazing guests, and Charlene is our special guest today. So thanks for being here. And we will see you on the next episode. And so let's go get our brave on. Bye, guys.